Oh yes, everybody, I've just come back from my 1 week long vacation. Happy New Year officially from me. I am finally back. Let me see how the first week went here of this year in aviation.
Details are emerging about Tuesday's deadly collision.
Oh. It's quite bad. In fact, I should probably start a news program at this point. Yes, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Swiss Air One's weekly aviation news. Classy, informative, and good. And everybody, what can I say? The first week of this year started off with a bang. But not only one bang, but like 3 bangs. Today we're going to talk about 3 bangs that happened this week. Starting off with, of course, the tragic accident that happened at Tokyo Haneda Airport on January 2nd. The very controversial accident on a 737 MAX 9 from Alaska Airlines. And also a landing fail at Madeira Airport, the airport we visited recently on the channel. Now, buddy, the world was in shock when on the second day of this year, the 2nd of January, the first plane crash happened. We've all seen the picture of the A350 being caught on fire after crashing into a De Havilland Canada -8 Coast Guard plane on runway 34 right at Tokyo Haneda Airport. This happened while JAL Flight 516 landed at the runway, and the Coast Guard plane mistakenly taxied onto the runway that the A350 was landing on, I guess through miscommunication.
Japan 166, hot 21. Japan 166, good evening.
Now, of course, after this collision, both planes caught fire because of all those fuels igniting, which rendered the A350 into practically a taxiing fireball as it still had to stop. It then ended up coming to a halt on the runway 34 right. Luckily for the passengers of the A350, after all those were over 300, the evacuation went extremely well, and the plane was completely evacuated and no fatalities were recorded on the A350 flight. Sadly for the little -8, the 6 crew members on board all died. Here, of course, the rule of thumb of bigger and heavier means safer applies. The little -8 truly had no chance in this collision. A truly sad day for Japan because the -8 was sent by the government on a relief mission in response to the Sea of Japan earthquake. Now, why could these planes collide so easily on the runway? Well, the -8 was sadly not equipped with an ADS-B responder, which, would have meant that at least the pilots of the A350s would have had the famous traffic thing in their cockpit. Traffic. Yes, they didn't have this alert on final approach. There is definitely limits to TCAS, and even an A350 can be blind. So in this case, because the -8 only was fitted with this Mode S transponder, which is, not very sophisticated, the traffic awareness system of the Airbus wasn't catching on. And due to miscommunication once again with ATC, these planes then could collide on the runway. This marks the first accident for the A350, a very new airplane and a very automated airplane. An airplane that people really didn't think that it would ever be involved in a collision crash. This, of course, led to airport closure. Flights like JAL Flight 166 that was just on final approach and was supposed to land after the A350 had to go around and divert to Tokyo Narita Airport. The whole incident, of course, caused a lot of economic damage. I mean, it's very expensive to close an airport, especially at this high time of New Year's. Very, very tragic indeed. Now, while this case is still being investigated, it is quite clear that the Coast Guard plane is at fault for this accident because it, it taxied onto the runway that it wasn't cleared for. The -8 was only cleared to taxi to Charlie 5 holding point to then take off. But then instead of as instructed holding at Charlie 5 holding point, they exceeded Charlie 5 and just lined up on the runway. In fact, I personally have no idea how the pilots were like, okay, this is perfect, let's taxi onto the runway. Definitely a human mistake right here. Very tragic indeed. But everybody, let's talk about, I guess, mechanical failures. Of course, the 737 MAX 9 that lost its window over Seattle. Never mind, it was actually in Portland, Oregon. Yes, everybody, let's go ahead and skip ahead 3 days to January 5th. I'm pretty sure we've all ever heard of the pictures of a 737 MAX 9 that practically lost its emergency door. Yes, quickly after flight 1282 departed from Portland, Oregon, the 737 MAX 9 from Alaska Airlines suffered from rapid decompression in the cabin because one of the emergency exit doors seemed to have fallen off. Yeah, the thing about the 737 MAX 9 is that it is equipped with an additional exit door in the rear mid-cabin area, just behind the wing. This door is mandatory in planes with dense seating arrangements. In configurations with fewer seats, these exits are not required, and the spaces are usually sealed with plugs. On this flight 1282 with Alaska seating arrangements, one of those plugs dislodged during ascent, which then fell off. And fell to some houses actually as well. The aircraft then managed and immediately returned to Portland without any fatalities or serious injuries among the 171 passengers and 6 crew members on board. The incident resulted in the loss of small personal items, some cabin fittings like seat covers. Yes, indeed, some of the plane's parts were sucked out of the cabin. And everybody, it is deja vu time because it seems as though the 737 MAX is a flawed airplane overall. I mean, we remember the 2 crashes of the MAX 8 that were happening before COVID, which led to year-long groundings of all MAX airplanes. And now that they're flying, they're, grounded once again, at least the MAX 9 models. Alaska Airlines has now proactively grounded their fleet of 737 MAX 9s. 171 similar aircraft are now grounded globally, while the issue with these plugs that act as a placeholder of an emergency exit door are still being investigated. This is still ongoing. Overall, really bad PR for Boeing just yet, and their build quality. Just recently in December, the FAA revealed that Boeing had asked airlines to check newer 737 MAX aircraft for a possible loose screw in the rudder control system. While this news wasn't super viral, it doesn't really speak in addition with part of the plane just randomly being able to fall off from the 737 MAX 9 as good quality of an airplane. Yes, people are actually getting scared of the 737 MAX, of flying it.
This is how you can tell what type of aircraft you're going to be flying if you are looking to avoid flying the 737 MAX like myself.
Now, as I already told you, this is a very, unfolding story still. It is still being investigated how this could happen. Yesterday, it has been revealed that the Alaska Airlines 737 MAX was not being used on long flights over water because a pressurization warning light had gone off during 3 recent flights on the very airplane. So it was clear already that this airplane would have issues with its pressurization, or perhaps that there was a leak, maybe in the plug. For now, we can be very glad that nothing happened on this flight. No one was injured, even on the ground of things falling down onto the Oregon. We can now patiently wait for the FAA to figure out what went wrong. The Madeira Island's Funchal Airport. Only in last October, we visited this island on the channel to, uncover the truth of the most dangerous airport in Europe, or it's often called.
It's fun. There you go, like a bit of a turn here. This is crazy.
The airport on the volcanic island is known for its short runways and especially high winds.
Touchdown soon. Oh yeah, okay, that was alright. That was alright landing here at Madeira Airport. You can really see this U-turn.
A combination that sometimes doesn't play out super well, just like it did 2 days ago on January the 6th for Scandinavian Airlines flight SK2901. The flight originating from Stockholm Arlanda Airport to Funchal Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport experienced an incredibly hard landing due to a wind shear occurring just on final approach. Yes, the wind shear really set right above the runway of 23 and made the plane do an incredibly hard landing. There's a few clips from two directions on YouTube which show very much how hardly the plane landed. In fact, so hard that the airplane suffered a compressor stall. You can see this little flame out of the engine on the right-hand engine. The airplane then bounced on a landing and the crew promptly executed a go-around. Now, it was quite clear then from the start that this airplane would need to go into service, so they directly diverted to Gran Canaria's airport where they landed 19 minutes later because Gran Canaria Airport is just bigger and has more service facilities. The good thing about Madeira Airport is truly that there are always cameras around, people filming the epic approaches. This time it really went wrong, but nothing happened on the SAS flight nonetheless. No injuries reported, not even a broken spine. Right now the airplane is still in service at Gran Canaria and everything went well. You know, you say every landing is a good one if you can walk away from it. Yeah. So this once again shows the craziness of wind shears, especially at our famous Madeira airport. So keep filming, guys. Thank you. Wrap of the week. I can't wait for next week. Hopefully gonna be better. I hope you all personally had a bit of a better start into the year 2024, and I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night.